This budget Android phone adds a second screen on the back. Let's check it out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out this. This is the NUU Mobile B40 5G Android smartphone. And like so many phone manufacturers, they are really trying to innovate with different ideas to differentiate their product. So we're seeing a lot of the foldable phones and flip phones and phones with greater and greater density screens. And what they've done here is on the back where they have the camera sort of push out section, they've added a tiny little notification screen. They call that their Vista Screen. We'll get to that in a second. What I want to do is I want to show you an unboxing so we can see everything in the box. And then we'll turn it on and we'll try to get a couple of little demos going real quick. But I want to start out by telling you it's a dual display. And the primary display, let's have a look. The primary display on the phone is a nice big 6.7-inch FHD Plus AMO LED screen. Let's turn this thing on. And I have previously configured it, so it should just go straight to having the home screen. So it's that 6.7-inch FHD Plus at 2400 by 1080p, so it's HD at 395 pixels per inch, and it has a nice 120 hertz refresh rate. So you can see here that it is a bright screen. It's very nice. And then on the back, check that out. That's the 1.6-inch Vista AMO LED screen, and it's 460 by 228 pixels. So it is not intended to be how you're going to watch a TV show or something, but as a way to get a quick glance and get notifications and stuff. You can leave your phone like this and you never have to flip it over. How cool is that? Really, very neat idea. We'll come back to this because there's a lot to check out here, and including it has its own touch gestures. So they've done a neat implementation. So the phone itself is powered by a MediaTek Dimensity 7025 CPU, which is a 2.5 gigahertz octa-core for people that care about that, and 8 gig of RAM and 256 gig of storage. So it is a nice Android phone with lots of capabilities and lots of storage space. The battery, 5,000 milliamp hours, so that should keep you going for a full solid day, a busy day. And it also supports 33-watt fast charge, so if you give it a lot of juice on its USB-C port on the bottom, then you're going to charge it up pretty quick. Now, I will note that the sides are rounded, so it has a really nice hand feel to it, and that means there aren't a lot of buttons or anything. So on the right-hand side is the pretty typical volume up and down and power, and they're honestly almost invisible. The top has nothing, just a tiny little hole. The left side has nothing. The bottom has USB-C for charging, a SIM slot, though it supports dual SIMs, and it has a couple of holes punched out so that you can actually get the speaker, so you can actually hear what it's playing. Now, camera-wise, in addition to that super cool little tiny display, it also has two rear-facing cameras. One that's a 64 megapixel f1.89 with AI power, so it should be able to do a magically good job with your photos, which is pretty handy. And then the other one's a 2 megapixel macro with an 88.8 degree field of view. On the front, let's just see if we can wake this thing up. On the front, there's a little hole punch. You can see that at the top, and that gives you a pretty nice 16 megapixel front camera. So lots of nice specs. Let's see what else is in the box. So we have a charging wall plug, and that's nice with USB-C on one end. And then we have a SIM removal pin, which I'm not going to take out of the box. And no surprise, a USB-C to USB-C charging cable and a sticker with serial number and such. And then in this box, let's see what else we have. So it includes, and I really like when companies do this, so stickers, that's not what I'm talking about. Getting started, that's not what I'm talking about. It includes a case. So I really like, this is a self-contained all-in-one package. So what does it say? It says, do not throw. Ha, we'll throw it anyway. So, so this is the phone. And, you know, it's nice. It comes with that. Let me just, I think I set a pin here. There we go. So we should get to the home screen. So there we are. And so, you know, I really like this. Is very self-contained. This is a perfect sort of phone to give to someone who maybe isn't ready or doesn't have the budget, or really, you know, it's not necessary for them to have some super fancy like Pixel 9 or Pixel 10 or iPhone or something. This is just a simple Android phone with that cool thing on the back. And there are, as I said, a lot of touch interactions. So I can double tap, theoretically, there we go. Just have to have a tiny bit of patience, and that turns it on. And then you can swipe across, apparently. There we go. And so there's different displays. Let me actually get and zoom in so you can see what's going on with these different displays. It's pretty cool. You can see the Vista screen here, and let's go ahead and double tap on it. And that wakes it up. And now I can swipe to see different modes. So there's compass, that presumably is camera, music, and then I can also swipe up and down. If there were any message alerts, it would show me those. And that's pretty much it. So it's a nifty little tiny screen, and you can also see the cameras and the integrated flash and everything. So NUU's done a terrific job with this little bit of integration. That's pretty much the primary things I wanted to share with you. So it's Android 15, Bluetooth 5.2, and if you haven't tried Android 15 and you're still on an earlier version of Android, it's really getting so much smoother. The whole user experience is so much better that this really feels very custom and very modern in interaction. And dimensions-wise, it is 6.4 inches by 2.9 inches by 1/3 of an inch thick, and it is 6.5 ounces. Obviously, you can add the case, which adds probably a fraction of an ounce. And that's everything. This is a really nice Android phone, and it feels super fast. It comes with all the Google tools and everything, you know, and it's moving along at a pretty zippy speed. So if you don't need the latest and greatest and you don't want to spend $1,000 on a smartphone, this is a very viable option for you. And so I do want to point out, here are all the touch interface options for that Vista screen on the back, and it's turned off right now, but if I double tap, then it turns on. So really pretty handy. So I think that I kind of wish my phone had this feature, but it doesn't. So maybe this will become my new Android phone. Anyway, I do want to talk about the price. Before we get there, I'm going to invite you to subscribe to my channel. Click or tap on that subscribe button, hit that bell icon for notifications, and if you're so inclined, I appreciate a thumbs up. Always appreciate that. Excellent. This is, let me show you the back with the little tiny screen. Okay, why did it turn off? I think there's probably a setting there that I haven't adjusted yet, but this is the NUU Mobile B40 5G Android smartphone, and it is $299.99 at NUUmobile.com. Check it out, because when I went and looked at their site, I saw a substantial discount if I was willing to sign up for their mailing list. So you might be able to get it for a lot less than that. But regardless, for $300, this is a solid Android option that can keep you going for years to come. And it is compatible with a fair number of different carriers, primarily T-Mobile. What I would highly recommend is that you go to their website and you check their list of carriers to make sure that it would be compatible with yours. Some major carriers don't want third-party Android phones on their networks, which kind of stinks really, but you want to find that out before you try to use the phone. So that's what I got. Gonna go and play a little bit with, see what kind of options I can have with that back screen. So that's what I got. I hope to catch you in my next video.